What it is, what it do, what it is, lads and ladettes. I usually talk about games and everything of that nature, but this is just something. It's gaming related, but it's very sad news and very unfortunate news. But I have more that I want to add to this, and just basically, while most of you may or may have not heard about the mass shooting in Jacksonville, Florida during the Madden NFL 19 tournament. Man, it's just really a terrible thing. But before I give my 2 cents on what I think about the matter, I'm going to read an article from CNN, and then I'm going to just basically go off of that. So the article basically says, the heading of it is that it's titled "Jacksonville Shooting Suspect Specifically Targeted Fellow Madden Gamers." Okay, I want I want to go back to that in a minute, because this basically is something in this article that said that I want to go back to the title. So here's what the article is. I'm going to basically read the whole article. It's not very long, but I'm going to give it to you. Please, if you're sticking through this, thank you. First of all, if anybody was there, if anybody went through it, for any of the victims, I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope everything is okay. And 2 victims were killed. I'm sorry for the families. May they rest in peace. This is very, very sad news, and it should never come to this. But let me read this article first, and then I will continue to give my opinion and my thoughts on this matter. So it says, the suspect who opened fire during a Madden video game tournament in Jacksonville, Florida on Sunday actively targeted other gamers in his shooting spree, Sheriff Mike Williams said. David Katz, a 24-year-old gamer from Baltimore, Maryland, was in town for the tournament at GLHF Game Bar at the Jacksonville Landing, a downtown shopping and dining complex. He walked past patrons in other parts of the restaurant and then opened fire on his fellow competitive gamers before killing himself, Williams said. I'm going to read that sentence one more time, and you're going to understand very shortly why I'm reading this a second time. It says, he walked past patrons in other parts of the restaurant and then opened fire on his fellow competitive gamers before killing himself, Williams said. Moving on, the shooting left 2 people dead, 10 injured from gunshots, and 1 person with a non-gunshot injury. Williams said, all of the injured are expected to survive, he said. As bad as this is, it could have been much worse, quote, by Williams. Katz's motive in the shooting remains under investigation, police said. The suspect had legally purchased 2 weapons in Baltimore over the past month, and one of the weapons had a laser sight that attached to the gun, officials said. But let me read the sentence before that again. Katz's motive in the shooting remains under investigation, police said. Let me move forward. Alexander Madunik, and if I'm mispronouncing that name, I apologize. It says he's a gamer who was shot in the foot, said the shooter lost a game in the Madden tournament earlier in the day and was angry. He was kind of upset about that, so I'm guessing that had something else to do with it too, Madonic said. Now that is what the article said, and basically the police said his motive was under investigation. What more do you need when people are telling you he walked past patrons, when he completely targeted? It's right in the title of the article. Jacksonville shooting suspect specifically targeted fellow Madden gamers. There is right there a motive. When a month before he legally purchased 2 guns, one of them had a laser sight. This sounds premeditated to me. What more do you need? Closing shut, and the guy also took his life. And then let me also say this. Earlier on Fox, they said that he suffered from mental illness. Now, if you go to my Twitter sometime earlier this morning of the recording of this video, I basically said, hey, listen, Fox, you guys better not play the whole mental illness story like you always do with this kind of thing. Okay, I understand that mental illness is a serious thing and that it's quite possibly what it is. But I want to say this. Fox is known to always play the sympathy act for when a Caucasian or fair-skinned mass shooter does this kind of thing. But when a black person gets shot by a cop, they're calling us thugs and everything like that. They don't ever want to sympathize with us. Recently, a cop shot a young boy who played basketball, and they zoomed in on one of his pictures to try to make it look like a mugshot so he looks like a criminal. Are you kidding me? You know, I'm pretty fed up with Fox. Now, once again, I'm not saying that mental illness isn't a real thing. But since we're on the topic of mental illness, why not have people go into real therapy? And then on top of that, you can legally purchase guns in certain states, but why aren't people going through the necessary screenings and questions and everything? Why can't you just walk in somewhere and just purchase a gun? I do not understand this. This is sad. 2 men lost their lives. One of them had children. I'm not sure if the other young man had children. One of them was a husband and a father. This is sad. This man ended someone's life, 2 people's lives, and injured 10 others. You see, I usually don't do these kind of videos, but since this kind of hit home and is attacking the video game thing, it really hurts my heart even more. Because now we can't go and play video games competitively. And on top of that, now it seems like a necessary precaution is if we're going to be having these kinds of tournaments, maybe a screening for mental illness needs to be tested. These men need to be tested. Now we got to have metal detectors and stuff like that because we can't be safe. This guy used a handgun, to my knowledge, and 2 people died. He targeted them and others got shot. It's so sad, man. It's so sad. Fox News, you guys need to really start targeting this. And we're talking about making America great again, and yet how many I don't even know right off the bat how many mass shootings happen, and I know 5 or more happen, and here we are in August, nothing. We shouldn't have any mass shootings. But we should really do some screenings for these for people who want to legally purchase guns, and not penalize people like people who legally carry, went through the necessary to get a license and everything, and some people defend their homes, and sometimes people are still getting tried. We need to do proper screenings for cops who are having guns, and just because they see a black person, they're automatically threatened, and they want to pull their gun out and say, oh, I had fear for my life. And sometimes some of these black folk are running with their hands up, running away because they're scared you're drawing a gun on them. This is unacceptable, America. We have to do better. Period. Point blank. There is no excuse for this. And now with video game tournaments, it's not safe anymore. That man was a monster. Call him a terrorist. Okay? We always talking about terrorism that's happening over there, and we're calling brown people from the Middle East and other places terrorists, but we never want to address domestic terrorism. A guy in Vegas, I believe it was early this year, shot up. It was a mass shooting in Vegas. It was a mass shooting in schools. More than one mass shooting in schools. Are you kidding me? I can't go to school. My children can't go to school without people shooting it up. Are you kidding me? We need to have mental screenings. We need to have more mental illness tests, and we need to have more mental illness awareness. And people need help. If you've had mental illness in the past or mental health issues in the past, you shouldn't be allowed to just go and pick up a gun. You shouldn't be allowed to carry a badge so that you can shoot certain people. This is a very serious problem that we have in America. And I don't want to go too far into this because I don't want to turn my channel into this type of thing. This is basically mostly gaming and sometimes wrestling and other things. But my issue is it's hitting it home. We can't go to tournaments. I understand that you lost. It's very sad. Technically, these guys are athletes because they compete in tournaments and they have sponsors and patrons and everything like that. But, I mean, you know, not to sound really messed up, but Knicks lose, Jets lose. They don't be shooting up places because they're upset. You know, you got to suck it up. To me, it kind of sounds like privilege, and this is not a guy who's ever been told to no or has never really had to lose or anything like that. And, you know, I'm sorry that he went through that, and I'm even more sorry that 2 men had to lose their lives and their family had to lose some relatives. A father, a husband, a brother, a cousin, a grandson, a son. It's very sad and very terrible. This video was very hard for me to make. I wasn't attacked personally. I didn't feel this personally, but it was very sad. And this type of thing has to stop. We have to do better. We have to have not just stricter gun laws. Stricter gun laws. You have to have a test, a certain amount of tests. You have to be able to pass these tests if you want to legally carry. And honestly, maybe not have people legally carry in the streets, because, I mean, this kind of crap happens. In fact, you know what? I don't want to bring it up, but it's an honest issue in America. I am a gamer first. I mean, obviously, I'm also a black man in America, and the shooting of black men, the shooting and killing of black men in America, it's very sad. I believe an article and a video I saw a couple days ago, I don't remember where it was, but I think it was in Florida, where a black gentleman parked in a handicap spot, and his girlfriend and his child was in the car, but I guess he just wanted to run into the store real quick. You know, he couldn't find any other parking spots. He wanted to rush in and rush out. And then some other gentleman who was white came to the car, and he seemed to be yelling at the gentleman's girlfriend, and he's irate and he's all upset. And the black gentleman came and he said, he's upset. Who's yelling at my girlfriend? Who does this guy think he is? And he went to defend her, pushed the guy on the ground, and the white gentleman pulls out a gun and shoots the black gentleman. Why? You're doing something basically not minding your business. Somebody came to defend his girlfriend's honor, and you want to shoot him, and you talking about you fear for your life? The gentleman pushed him on the ground. He didn't run to completely start attacking him. He didn't try to full mount him and keep punching him. He pushed him so he can get him out of the way to let him know, stop messing with my family. But yet and still, you pulled the gun out, and you are and even then, he was backing up. Once he pulled the gun out, he started to shoot him. And this guy served no time. Stand your ground law, I believe, is what they call in Florida. That's unacceptable. Just because he legally had... I'm not going to get further into this, but I'm just going to say this. I'm very sorry for the victims and their families. I'm very sorry. Sorry, I'm losing focus. I'm very sorry for the people that lost someone. I'm very sorry that this is being attacked in the gaming community. Now, what I don't want to hear on the news and in the government, video games are violent. They were playing football on top of that. Video games are violent. Video games cause this and that. No, you need to just... Parents especially need to step up and make sure their children are good. They need to, ask them if they're okay, because maybe this gentleman was going through a lot and nobody gave him the proper help. Mental illness is a very real thing, and this is a very sad thing, and I hope that this never has to... I hope to never see this again, but, I mean, if I'm talking about the reality here, I mean, with all of the mass shootings that happened this year, it's quite a disgusting and very sad thing. I don't know what else to say but to end this. Thank you for watching if you watched this far. I'll post all my information in the description below. Rest in peace to the two gentlemen that passed away. I'm sorry to hear this once again. Lads and ladettes, this video is finito.